Welcome to the Flip Your Script podcast. I'm Christy Peel. Today's guests, Jesse and Hollie Erickson, are the creators behind the viral social media account Wonderful Life with Bedford, where they share the everyday reality of raising their son Bedford, who lives with Schwartz-Jampel syndrome. What started as simple updates for friends and family has grown into a platform reaching millions, turning one family story into a powerful movement for awareness, inclusion, and connection. They are bravely using social media for good. Jesse and Hollie, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, before we talk social media, I really want to talk about something that I learned in doing some research, which is Bedford's name, because the account is Wonderful Life, Wonderful Life with Bedford, but it means more than just a name. And maybe not everyone knows the wonderful, holiday Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life, but talk about the inspiration, because that all started long before you knew that Bedford had any sort of diagnosis.
Yeah, so we could not agree on a name for Bedford to save our lives. Like every name I gave him, he was like, no. And randomly, because he's a Christmas baby. My favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. I've watched it every year growing up with my dad. My dad would weep, we all would weep, and just a powerful reframing of what matters in life. And randomly one day, I was like, "What do you think about Bedford?" And I feel like he's like thought on it for a little bit, kind of dismissed it. And then I don't think it was really until we started to approach hospital time that he was like, yeah, I think this is really cool. Like maybe he'll be a lawyer, maybe he'll be an accountant, like very prestigious name, obviously very unique, but just the idea behind every man's life has value. I have a love for words, and so words and names are meaningful to me. I also let him kind of choose our older son's name, so I felt like I had skin in the game to say, this is the name that I get. Obviously, not knowing what Bedford's life would look like at all, but just what a powerful name. And to say, yeah, my name came from the movie It's a Wonderful Life, where every man's life matters. And obviously, that has crazily come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't know about his diagnosis for about a year and a half after he was born. So truly just happenstance, God thing, what have you. But yeah.
It's a great name, and it's a great social name, because it really frames what you're trying to do, which is not feel bad for us. Oh my goodness, this is a terrible thing. It's a wonderful life with
Yeah.
Bedford. It's just how most people look at wonderful is different than how you're showing them Bedford's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think one thing, I mean, obviously, like when we found out about his diagnosis, and since then, there have been hard days. There is a lot of, things we have to deal with that other families don't, things with him specifically that people don't see. But at the same time, what this platform has done for us, and what just because of the condition he has and the people we've gotten to meet through that, and the opportunities we've gotten to go down because of that. I mean, I think it has shown out like this is a wonderful thing, despite the heavy side of that, the hard part of that.
It's such a juxtaposition that wonderful takes on such a different meaning, because the highs, I suspect the highs are higher and the lows are lower.
Yep.
And the wonder and the joy in the moments.
Yeah, and I think when we first found out, it was also just so shocking that we didn't really know what to do with it. When we talked to people about it, truly, like as we're finding out the diagnosis, like in real time, Holly is just tanking. I mean, it's just very emotional. She's starting to think about all these small things that are going to be impactful for years, from that day. Whereas as the dad, kind of start stepping like, I'm going to be strong and not emotional about this, and just be the rock in the for it. But then what happened next was that, a couple months later, as Holly started to figure out how to deal with it, I started to tank. And so, we've both gone through it quite a bit. And actually, it really wasn't until Holly launched the social media pages and things started to change for us that we sort of came out of that darker place in dealing with this.
So in our attempt to sort of share, it is a wonderful life. Hey, every man's life matters, not just Bedford's, but yours too. I feel like it empowered us to believe what we're preaching. Like, hey, this is something that I feel God's put on my heart. I'm going to share it with you, but I'm learning right along with you. I do hard things daily, and then I avoid hard things daily. But just as people are inspired by his story, I don't, I think that people probably just think, oh, we're just so used to being so motivated all the time with Bedford, which is true, but it is also like a swift kick in the rear sometimes. Like I'm out on a run and I'm like, I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna do this next lap, which I seem silly. But then just in the back of my mind, like, no, my baby can't run. So if I have two legs that can work and run, I'm gonna run. So a simple, hard task like that. But I don't know, just what kind of life are we mirroring to him throughout the hard? Are we showing him that it truly is a wonderful life, regardless of what we're dealt? So
Yeah, and wonderful doesn't mean rainbows and butterflies every minute of the time. And you show that as well. Wonderful is defined by all of the moments. Let's talk about his diagnosis briefly, because medically people listening may not, they might be stopping to Google what this is. So talk about what it means for Bedford.
Yeah, so Schwartz-Jampel syndrome is what it's called, SJS for short. We had no idea either what that was, and we find that pretty much no one knows what that is. It is a extremely rare genetic condition, and so but both mom and dad have to have this super rare recessive gene for this to happen, and also it's a 1 in 4 chance if that occurs, and so it's just very hard to even get to that condition. But what makes it even harder is that the way they explained it to me is that within this string of genetic code, if there's a error or a change to that line of code, then you have SJS. And what's even more strange is that a bunch of the SJS kids have different changes to that code from each other. And so there are a lot of similarities between them, but there are also differences. And so, like one of our genetic meetings about a year later, they told us, just remember, his code is different than any other on record. So he's truly one, he's the only one that it is this way. And so, but in terms of the rarity, there's only been 150 recorded cases medically globally since the 1960s. And we've found, I think, over time now that there are probably closer to 1 to 2,000 of them, but there's only 150 recorded. Still like 1 in a billion numbers. And what it causes generally is muscle stiffness throughout the whole body. So every single muscle in his body, if you imagine lifting weights and that tension that you feel when you lift a weight or something like that, he feels that in every muscle all the time. And what that does is, I mean, there's some obvious things like it makes him very stiff and he can't bend as well. And
his
but
eyebrows
his eyebrows are always
raised.
raised. There's a good sign of it. There a lot of them have eye issues. But one of the major things is that because the muscles are so constricted all the time, it actually causes his bones to grow differently or ineffectively. And so they have issues with their pelvis typically. His mouth, his teeth grow inward because there's not enough room in his mouth because of this. He, the eyes are another one. Like, so a lot of the kids will have their eyes over time start to droop because those muscles weaken from being overstimulated all the time. And the first thing we actually noticed when our pediatrician said you need to go check this out is that it was his walking and the x-rays you could see it his leg bones sort of curved like that, and that's why he kind of walks the way that he does. So it actually causes a lot of issues down the road as he grows throughout his body. It's not just one thing here or there. It's sort of a holistic issue, which also makes it sort of a journey in that, like, in year one, we were dealing with walking, but by year two now, we're dealing with a lot of dental mouth issues. We've seen other kids that are older, and the eyes are a prominent issue for some of them, and so that might be a thing that we have to deal with in the future. And so it's just kind of this journey, and no one can really give you a straight answer.
Because it's so rare,
Yeah.
right?
Right, and there's not enough cases to say, oh, his code is like this other kid who is now 25, and here's the progression.
So I joined a Facebook group immediately, and there were like 100 people in it, but posted every 3 to 5 years, foreign language. So it's not like I could say, hey, we're going to the doctor to talk to them about this. What can you say? But we were so blessed that there actually was a young man. He's 18. TLC had done an episode on him. So he had some social media presence. So it was easier to find him. But he was within 2 hours of us, which is crazy. So we got to meet him and his mom and his sister and his dad. So it's cool that we have that, and we're blessed to have that because we have texted them in real time in the doctor's office. Hey, did this work for Geo? The doctors are wanting to push it on us, but with the social media thing too, that's why I started. Was I was like, Facebook's not helping. I wonder if there are other kids out there like this. I would love to chat with them because there's not much on Google or that you can Google. And I want to say since I started posting last spring, we've connected with maybe 10,
5 to 10.
5 to 10 kids. And it's interesting. Most of the ones that we have connected with, it's the parent reaching out, but they're all young. And I don't know if that's because a generational thing, like the parents are on social media, and if someone is an adult that has SJS and just isn't on social media. But it's funny and a bizarre place to be. I actually Googled the other day, are there any well-known people that have SJS, just to see if it was on the map at all in that capacity. And Bedford's name came up. I was like, what is life that I'm Googling? Like, who else in the world has this? And then my son's name comes up because of our social media presence. But
And one of the back to sort of the like wonderful part of it and also hard parts of it is that Gio was the only one, the 18-year-old boy that we met first and with someone we really knew about. But now that we've been on for a while and our platform grew, we've now had like 5 to 10 reach out to us, but there's like one in Slovakia and one in Lebanon and one in
Brazil.
Brazil and a couple other places. Anyway, none of them can speak English. And they're all in parts of the world where care and information is lesser. And so they're like asking us, what do we do? When do I see
Which
this?
is such a
When
bizarre place to be because like, we do not know because we do not know.
we are learning at the same pace you are.
But it's been cool that that door has been opened. His pediatrician was like, let's host a conference and we'll bring all of the SJS kids together. They just got to pay for airfare. We'll put them up in a hotel. So I
And
don't know.
translators,
Maybe
apparently.
that's down the road, but I don't know. It's just a weird place to be, all because of social media.
Yeah. And it has been interesting to compare the cases too, because they are all a little bit different. And so it is a huge challenge.
When social media started, the vision, right, was to use it to connect people. And it's sort of gone for many people down this other place where it's doing the opposite of connecting people. It's dividing people and a place where people can argue and fight and disagree. And I mean, it can be
Yeah.
a dark place, but there are these glimmers of light of gosh, this is what's possible when
Right.
social media is used in an authentic way. And that's what you've done with Bedford. So I love the stories of people coming to you because it is really about connecting and knowing I'm not alone in this journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, besides the SJS kids, I mean, we have people reach out. We get messages every single day, of varying degrees. Some are just, very simple little things, and others are very deep and heartbreaking, but hopeful at the same time in ways. I mean, I always tell this story. One of the early messages we got was from a girl who she wasn't very specific, but essentially just sort of said that she was probably going to commit suicide or hurt herself, and saw Bedford's video of him trying to get up on the curb, and that just changed her perspective completely. And so Holly messaged her a few times and tried to talk her through that a little bit, and she's been a huge supporter and bought his shirts and all this other stuff since then. But it's such a we were crying every day last summer with some of the messages, just seeing how our 2-year-old child who really has no idea what's going on is changing people's lives. It just was really, really amazing. Hard to describe.
What a story. And you mentioned the curb video. So if people haven't seen it, it's pinned on their social. I encourage you to go look at it. But basically, Bedford is in a walker and he's trying to get up a curb and he doesn't want to. And Hollie, you're there saying, no, no, you can do it. And you basically make him do it
Yeah.
on his own and you're not doing it for him. And it really resonated with people. I looked through the comments and preparing for this, and it is remarkable because I imagine when you posted that, your thought wasn't, this is going to inspire
Right.
and change someone's
Right.
life.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. You can't see the whole frame because people negative comments like, well, why didn't he use the ramp? And I'm like, well, the ramp's on the other side of the playground and it's like 6 inches and he has to get through mulch to get to it. And his snack was 2 feet away from him. It was just up the curb. And that summer, it was a lot of toddler, go do that, mom. And I was like, no, let's try to figure out because I'm not always going to be here to help you get from point A to point B. So let's figure out, build that confidence up that he can get up curbs like that. And we have a curb outside that is much smaller than that he had been practicing on. And this one was a big one. And I talked with his PT and I was like, is it okay that I'm letting him do this and figure it out? And they were like, yeah, he can always say no. But yeah, the first time that he eventually got up there, then the second time it was like so much quicker. And now he is, I think I stepped out of the room when he said it, but now he's very much like, no, I'm doing it. Like it's tempting, I think, as parents and humans in general, it'd be much easier for me, quicker for me to pick him up to do all the things for him, because then in my brain that opens up opportunity for me to do other things because I've shaved down the time frame. Because that was a 15-minute battle with Bedford. It's just in a smaller clip, but figuring out how to do things without mom. And now he's telling me like, I want to take his socks off quickly because I posted a video about that. He can't do it quickly. And every night, no, I'm doing it. And just like he obviously can't communicate, wow, I did it all by myself, but just his eyes light up when he can do things without our help. And that was what I was trying to get him to do. Do I want to be there for him forever? Absolutely. But the reality is he has to figure stuff out. And if we can build up that like tenacity and grit now, then who's to say what that's going to look like when he does connect the dots that he is different. So yeah, I had no idea that that was going to go viral, any of the videos. And I started posting on TikTok thinking I would connect with more SJS kids because it's broader. And he was anti-TikTok at first. And so then I had to say, hey, something happened. So we had to have like a family conversation of like, is this the direction we're going to go? And then it's been like drinking out of a water hose
Yeah.
ever since. Like we were just reflecting last night, like it's been less than a year that all of this has happened, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And through the social media, you have this large audience. You also have gotten quite a bit of press attention, notoriety, and does it feel like a part-time job at this point?
Yeah.
Well, I'm such an empath that I feel so bad that I can't respond to everyone like I want to. And I know there's amazing people out there that I would love to connect with. But yeah, like we both work, we are full-time parents, and we try to get to all the comments and the messages. I've kind of tasked Jesse with the business side of it, where I post the content. I use the words to inspire and go in the comment sections, but then anyone that messages us, he will go through late at night to make sure that we're not missing anything. Because we've come up with so many cool opportunities, and the exposure that we've gotten for sure played a huge role in us being able to fund the playground. So yes, it is a full-time job.
It really is.
Or a part-time job, I should say, but
Yeah.
Talk about the playground because people may not know that part of the story.
so with that video last May, I work at my older son's school. I worked at the school before either boys were born, stepped away when Bedford's diagnosis came about. But in looking at the playground, it's a private school, but even if it weren't, most schools do not have inclusive playground. It's usually mulch, it's usually rock. If they do have the turf, then none of the equipment is inclusive. And just the heaviness of Bedford can be in regular classes. Cognitively, there aren't any roadblocks there or struggles. And his number one issue is just mobility. But thinking that his teacher would have to like shepherd him so closely or to watch him so closely because he might fall or he might not be able to get up to something like that would heavy on my heart. And I'm like, well, I can't be with him. And if I don't want his teacher to do that because that's not fair to them, then he's sitting on the sideline. So I told my principal, who I'm close friends with, I'm gonna figure out how to get a playground. And he kind of laughed at me because that's kind of how I am. And I honestly just like pray, like put the right people in front of me that I need to talk to. And I had a few conversations with city council people, never really went anywhere because I think playgrounds in general are daunting, they're expensive, add inclusive on top of that, and it's even more daunting. And then 3 weeks later, Unlimited Play, one of the women that works at Unlimited Play, her son messaged me on TikTok. And when you message once, you can't message again unless that person opens it. And so it just said, hey. He didn't mean to send just hey, but I didn't open it because why am I going to respond to a hey? So then he's like in our comment section, like, I messaged you, message me back. So I finally went to it. He told me about Unlimited Play, and I'm like, okay, how do I get a hold of him? Sends me an email. I send an email. And then I want to say 2 weeks later, they were so moved by Bedford's story and were like, hey, we have an annual gala as our fundraiser in October. This was in the summer. We want to feature Bedford at our gala, and Little Tykes is going to match every dollar that's raised that night. So we went, and I want to say with the match, we walked away. Bedford's playground was close to 400,000 for the playground itself. And we walked away with a little over half of that.
It was more than half.
And we were like blown away. We're crying. Again, we spent all of last year crying. But then we were like, okay, how are we going to raise the rest of this money? How do we get people to care about an inclusive playground when their kid does not have a disability? Because you don't have a seat at the table really unless you have a kid that needs it. You don't realize it unless you have a kid that needs it. So now I was like, I'm just going to start posting on social media. He has so many followers. We did the shirts and the sweatshirts, and the amount of people who were purchasing shirts because they were wearing them proudly or wearing them to work out or wearing them to show off. I had people sending me pictures in the airport, like everyone trying to see how can we get Build for Betty across America. And then it sort of went to different countries too. So people supported us that way. And then I had the idea, he has so many followers. If everyone just gave $1, we'd be there. What's $1 to everyone? And then people started doing that. So then Unlimited Play has this spreadsheet, and it's just like boom, 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 boom of all these people giving not just $1, but something to where it was adding up. And they were like, guys, this is like blowing up right now. Did you just post on social media? So it's fully funded, but we had every state in the United States was represented, and
about 60 countries.
60 countries.
60 countries.
Countries we've never even heard of that we had to look up, like, where are you from? People that wanted to give. So yeah, we had a lot of local people wanting to do like an all dads Christmas concert where they sang and raised money. And then we had someone dedicate a Christmas light show and like bake sales and elementary things, like
a couple businesses.
That's where the It's a Wonderful Life, the movie, started to play out like organically. The entire last year and even up to now, it has felt like Bedford is George Bailey standing behind the table. I can be Mary. I don't know who you are, but everyone's just dumping money on the table, whether it's the dollar or it's $20,000. Like, it's just everyone wanted to help. And I was like, what did I do to deserve this? All I did was share on social media. Obviously, my kid is cute. Obviously, he has a cute little red walker, but that was never my intent. And then this is where we are. So it's crazy.
It speaks so much too about the intention. You didn't show up on social media to be an influencer or to raise money or to ask for anything. You showed up to authentically share your story because you were seeking connection, and all these other things kind of came from that. So it is such an incredible testament to show up with an intention and be authentic.
Yeah.
And don't have expectations, right? You're not, craving the clicks. You're sharing the story. It's remarkable, and how quickly it happened. I just am impressed by you both and how you're showing Bedford and what that is like parenting, and that it isn't a reason to wake up every day and cry. It's a wake up every morning
Show up. Yeah.
and smile.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think we know from Gio's example, like he's told us, like there are some days it's hard for him to just get out of bed just because he's in pain and it's just hard. And I think through sort of our harder days, it sort of began to dawn on me at least, like I can't just let this bring me down every day because he's before too long he'll start to notice or learn from that in a very bad way because it's going to be harder for him to get up than it is for me. And so yeah, it's really inspires us as parents. We get a lot of messages too that are like, "You guys are so great. I can't believe how, he's so encouraging to me." And I'm like, "Yeah, us too." It's not that we're doing something so different. It's just that we have this thing and we have to deal with that. And we have to stand up as parents and take care of our child. And often I catch myself realizing that, my thoughts are sort of down in the dumps about that and then correcting them like, no, have to keep moving, have to keep going, have to get out of that. Because my kids are now old enough that they're watching and learning from it.
And the mindset is a choice.
Yeah, it is.
How you choose to respond, right? And you're making a conscious choice. I think the other thing that strikes me about your story and how you're using social media for good is that your days are hard, and it's not to sugarcoat that it isn't difficult, and that when you were having a baby, you expected any of this. You didn't, of course. And so many people who have hard things that they didn't sign up for, they just don't talk about it. I mean, you think about the mindset of, people 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago, you don't talk about the hard things at all. You keep that locked down, and you all showing up and showing the hard thing that isn't actually that hard. I mean, it's difficult, but it also has all this, wonderful aspects of it. But just by talking about it has opened the doors and encouraged other people. And I just love it when people use social media to talk about the things that, gosh, they didn't sign up for. They don't want this to be their account. Look at the impact it can have. So you really are modeling that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it is a challenge every day for sure. But I mean, Holly does such a great job on creating content that shows all of the good in that. And I mean, he truly is a blessing. He really, though some days are more challenging than others, especially with the toddler in general. I mean, he's changed our lives forever, not just because of his condition, but because of his tenacity, his grit. I mean, even his joy.
Yeah, that little face when he gets up on that curb. Man,
Yeah.
it's not a video you watch once.
I know. I still get moved by it when I watch it, and I was there. So it's like, yeah.
It's incredible. So what's next for you all with social? Keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah,
We've talked about it and haven't really figured it out. So obviously the goal is that the whole playground project, because we're adding more to it, would be done this summer. We're able to enjoy it this summer. I mean, I would love to keep going just in terms of connections. Like even we posted about how potty training is hard because he literally cannot bend. But then I posted a video showing people how he sits in a chair versus how he can sit on a rocking horse. And the amount of people that want to problem solve for my kids' bathroom issues is astronomical. And we haven't like definitively found a fix yet, but we're in conversations with like multiple universities, which is just crazy. So I don't know. I want to keep going with it just in terms of showing in cases like this, instead of feeling like we're so alone, because our doctors are great, but they have never seen an SJS case before. So to be able to brainstorm with so many people across the world, and people offer their connections, like life is life, and we know this as business professionals, like life is so much about connections and who you know, and just to have the broader reach. And then I don't know, just rallying behind other people. I've met a lot of moms who aren't trying to build playgrounds, but they're trying to raise awareness or build something else, or I don't know, just
pay for
support,
their hospital
pay
bills.
for their hospital bills, find appropriate medical devices, and being able to connect with them and like use our micro influencer following to help share their story too, and just partner with them. It feels very much like community, just at a larger scale. How can we help support these people? They might not be my neighbor where I can offer them a cup of sugar, but if I can help them get their story out or connect them with someone else that could benefit from hearing their story, then like that's what life's all about, which again, a nod back to It's a Wonderful Life. Like at the end of the film, all of these people are connected because George tethered them all together. So it's cool to see that that could be Bedford and is Bedford, and he doesn't even realize it yet. But it's encouraging to me that someday he's going to be able to look at these videos and read through these comments, but then to just step into the cognitive understanding of what community is like and how social media can be used for good when it 9 times out of 10 is used for bad, which we've gotten some negative stuff too. But yeah, just connecting people. We want to be lights and we want to help people. And if we can broaden that reach through social media, then that's what we want to do.
I love that we ended the conversation where we started talking about It's a Wonderful Life. And if you haven't ever seen the film, my goodness, you don't have to wait till Christmas, people. Watch the movie. It's an incredible movie. And congratulations for putting content on social media that is making a difference, that is making an impact, that is inspiring people and educating them about something that they probably have never heard of before. So we'll be watching It's a Wonderful Life with Bedford and cheering you on from afar. Good luck with the playground.
Thank you so much.